Today in the crypto space, we see the market fighting back. Bitcoin right around the 85,000, give or take. Ethereum down approximately 2.5%, but holding somewhat steady. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, a few of green moves to the upside. Solana looking pretty good. Celestia, HBAR, and a few others. However, there are some projects that are dipping very slowly and holding steady, though. At least we're getting some of that stability. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. But more importantly, I want to talk about Solana. Is Solana gearing up for a recovery, or is Solana going to come down to much lower levels? So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here, because this market right now is definitely giving us a bit of a headache. You know, are we moving up? Are we coming down? We see a slow grind to the downside with regards to market cap, right around the $2.9 trillion. Let's quickly do a refresh so that we have the latest and greatest. Yeah, right around that, slightly lower just as we speak, but all good, guys, all good. Why? Because we're seeing a little bit of change of heart here in the volume. The volume's looking okay, given the fact that every time we start getting a bullish response, every little pump to the upside on the way down, we're actually getting a bit of interested individuals. We can see that the market participation does get a bit of a spike, and that's not bad of a signal that maybe we are diverging here. We're diverging via volume, we're diverging via momentum, and maybe a bit of divergence via trend with a nice change of character at a horizontal support level might be the opportunity to start scaling in for a nice recovery, or at least a bit of relief. Now, today I want to talk about Solana, of course. Talk about Solana, its possibilities, where we're going with Solana. We'll take a look at the general market here and scrape through the top 100 just to get a sense of what the market is looking like today. And then we'll take a look at Bitcoin as a leading indicator. What is Bitcoin doing? If Bitcoin's falling, expect the whole market to fall. If Bitcoin holds some support and shows a bit of strength, we can see some decent recoveries for the next little while. And of course, happy Friday. We're getting into that weekend, and the weekend is not the best time to be trading. However, guys, we do occasionally get some green weekends. We just got to be careful with those green weekends, because obviously they leave CME gaps, and then that's where they get filled. And today we'll talk about that CME gap on Bitcoin in a second, as I know that is a very hot topic, and we've been analyzing these levels for a good while, guys. So a bit of a recap, of course. All right, guys, so we see that generally speaking, the market today has been getting a bit of relief depending on the project you're looking at. Like at the current moment, Solana doing pretty good, 7.5% to the upside, nice recovery right there. And as long as the market is going sideways and not falling too hard, we're still okay. We're still okay. As you can see, a slow grind to the downside. Usually when we get these slow grinds, they turn into falling wedges. You know, falling wedges are bullish structures. Eventually, the statistics suggest that we should break out bullish. And as that happens, we slowly kind of like hunt that liquidity, and then we start getting reactions that suggest pivot. And that's what I want to be able to analyze in the next little while. Pivot point structures that are breaking out of falling wedges, because usually that is the structure that suggests reversal. So I'm looking for that, especially looking for those bullish divergences and all of that. As you can see, some of the market is still grinding to the downside. However, we're getting some recoveries. 8% for HBAR, not bad of a scenario right there. And as we keep on coming down, we got a bit of sideways and slow grinds still. And we got Aptos, guys. If you missed out on my video on Aptos a couple of days ago, guys, so far Aptos has been doing great. Slow grind to the upside instead of slow grind to the downside like the rest of the market. So you're catching bottoms, you're catching good horizontal supports, taking risk at the right times. Sometimes it pays off. Even though it's not a huge move, it is still better than being in the red for the last little while. Aptos has been doing pretty good. We have a lot of other good projects, but most of them are in a slow grind. We can see Celestia recovering some of its losses in the last little bit, up 11%. That's a good one. Guys, you remember when I was bullish on Celestia on that structure, a bottom level structure. And I know fundamentally maybe Celestia is not the hottest and the nicest, but ultimately, you know, where you see good support levels from a position of strength, it can give us that edge. And then you can probably see some volume, which is what we're seeing right now. And as we keep on going down here, guys, you can see slow grinds to the downside, some random pumps here, bear chain is up, and so on and so forth. So I would say the overall consensus in the market is that we're in a little bit of a slump, a slow grind, maybe an average of about 2% to the downside, maybe a little bit more, but then we do have some random good gainers. Even Cardano did pretty good for a quick move to the upside. We've seen Supra. If you've been following Supra, guys, you guys know that I'm interested in the Supra project based on a small cap, obviously risky, but fundamentals pretty decent, and we got a nice move to the upside, almost 13% for today, so it's not bad of a scenario. So we're getting some reactions throughout the market. Now, of course, let's jump right into Bitcoin, guys. I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's do that. Let's see what's going on here with Bitcoin, because honestly, Bitcoin at the current moment is giving us a bit of trouble. Why? Because we're breaking down. However, guys, we did come down to that CME. We did come down to that level where that gap, that CME gap between 80,000 and about 77 and a half, more or less, right around to here. It's exactly 77,800, more or less. And if we do come down to that zone, which we did with a quick wick, technically we filled it. So it's done. Look at that buy up, guys. Look at the strength in that buy up. Okay, so that's really, really cool. That's really, really good. Now, the same way we like blow off tops is the same way we like these quick buy ups, like these ones. They usually result in continuations to the upside. The FOMO kicks in, and just to understand that we're closing a monthly candle today, which is that should be looking pretty good. If we look at the monthly candle the way we are, at least we're coming back to levels of which we can hold as support, maybe right around here, guys. It's not done yet. Let's see what kind of responses we get out of the bulls still, because the bulls right now are trying to fight back and maybe close a daily candle right around this level like nothing happened. So I appreciate that, but guys, in my opinion, at this current moment, my opinion is we're still playing around with a potential reversal. This could be the reversal area. Now that we close the CME gap, that's possible. We didn't come down to hunt this liquidity. It doesn't have to, guys. It doesn't have to. But if it doesn't give us, if the price doesn't give us a reversal structure, guys, it's likely to come down to that level. And then I'm interested. So at this current moment on the daily, we're not getting much other than this quick buy up that is still quite bullish, but no structure, none whatsoever. So the 4 hour, maybe. So let's talk about this 4 hour structure. You can see that earlier on this week, we were looking at it for a potential divergence. It came down for a lower low. Now, if you look at the momentum, what's beautiful about this is that it's actually telling, basically saying exactly what I've been saying for the last little while, guys. Wait for multiple drives of divergence. Now, you can see that we even made another lower low here. Another lower low, 1, 2, 3, coming down like that. And in the meantime, we're getting the divergence still. We didn't invalidate. This low on the momentum is still higher than the previous low. So this means that ultimately the class A bullish divergence is still intact, and we're getting multiple drives of divergence, which is interesting. Now, if we are going to start getting bullish here at this level, you have to get evidence of a change of character. We did not make a higher high here on the 4 hour, and obviously we still did not make a higher low. So that would give us a good confirmation to suggest that maybe we are going to see a reversal here for Bitcoin for at least a bit of relief to the upside. A bit of relief means for me is to come back to levels of where rejections could happen, and we're talking about this level right here, which is right around 96,000, give or take. The previous consolidation level could be resistance, and we can see this thick white line if it comes up here. If the price, so just let me show you what I mean here. If the price quickly comes down for a bit of a back test, gets back up, maybe breaks out and does one of these and gets rejected right around this zone, more or less, guys, it's not a good look. We make another low and maybe we come down for a lower low. But in the meantime, the possibility of that reversal is definitely there. So let me zoom in a little bit here. Let me get my tools up here for a second. And you can see that technically, if we zoom in and kind of align what is really happening with this divergence, what we're waiting for is that follow through. What we want is to see this finally make a higher low and then eventually a higher high, so we can break above these local highs and then eventually start changing the direction, so we can see this as a pivot point and finally get that follow through to the upside where we see the momentum overbought on the 4 hour. Just keep in mind, if you're trading the 4 hour, you got to get in on the 4 hour and you got to plan to get out on the 4 hour, because the daily, like I mentioned, is not really giving us much of much information other than this nice buy up that we're talking about right now. That candle's looking to turn green, guys. That's quite bullish. Ultimately, that's pretty cool. Let's see what happens in the next couple hours, guys. I'm going to be live tonight at 8 p.m. EST. We'll talk about the candle close. We'll talk about what we could be seeing in the next little while, because Bitcoin right now with this buy up and this bullish response is not bad. FOMO could start kicking in any second now and we can start flying. Okay, so keep those emotions at bay, but keep those possibilities obviously at the forefront. All right, guys, let's jump right into the Solana price. Let's see what's going on with Sol. And obviously there's a lot of people talking about Sol. What does Sol's future look like? I really don't think Sol is gonna evaporate. The reality is that its blockchain is there. It's not bad. It's got a decent fundamentals. It's got quite a bit of volume, lots of market participation involved in the ecosystem and all that. And we know it took a bit of a hit with the meme coin culture kind of coming down to a standstill. But the reality is Solana is still Solana. And you can see the bullish response here on this horizontal bottom. People did not wait or did not hesitate to buy the dip around this level, which is at about $125. Guys, people did not hesitate. We had a lot of algorithmic buy orders buy this up real quick. People put in those buy orders and let them simmer, and if the price came down, guess what happened? It got bought up so quick that we got a nice wick. And this is across the market. We're getting some nice wicks, and right now Solana's up 7% today. Pretty good. Now, this is the weekly time frame. I did this so that we can consolidate some of the price action. We can look at what has been happening, but the magic has to be at least on the daily. As you can see, we're still making lower lows and lower highs. We can quickly just extend this and to visualize what's been happening on the daily. We came down to this horizontal. Now the question is, do we break down? Guys, it's going to need a little bit of work for it to break down. It is a level of which we need to keep very close attention, because it could definitely happen. But right now what you have to understand is that the price is falling into support, and usually, statistically speaking, this is a level of which you may want to buy some Solana. It doesn't mean that we're not going to fall. What it means that probability, statistically speaking, it might be a good level to get at minimum some relief. This is a very important thing right now. It's because a lot of people think that the response has to take us straight to all-time highs in price discovery, and this includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the rest, right? And this obviously puts Solana in the same boat. Just because we might get some support here doesn't mean that Solana is going to go to $500. It doesn't mean that. What it means is that we might just get a bit of relief, enough relief to allow you to make some critical decisions, either to get into some trades or maybe exit some of your Solana position if now your overall conviction has changed since the last couple of months, given this meme coin narrative. Personally speaking, I don't think the Solana tech it has changed at all. The reality is it hasn't, and it's still very valid. So if you're going to be taking some chances, at least take some chances at horizontal levels where invalidations are clear, and you can see the invalidations are very clear, and a lot of people probably think the same way. That's why they got bought up real quick. You could put a stop loss right under here. Right under here, just put a stop loss, accumulate a bit of a bag right into this level. And what's most important of this level is wait for a change of character, wait for some structure. We're not getting any structure at the current moment. So let's take a look at oscillators real quick. You can see that we're finally oversold, nothing else. And I'm going to show you the 4 hour in a second, because there might be some divergence. There is no divergence yet here on the daily. Let's get this oscillator up here so we can see what the momentum looks like. It's still bearish, guys. EMA is facing down, right histogram bars, and the expansion is still down. So the daily, we got time. Clear. No real other than hitting horizontal, there's no real sense of urgency yet, unless you want to get in with that invalidation and on horizontal. That's where the risk to reward ratio gives you that edge. That's it, because you know where to stop yourself out and you're taking small losses. I get it if you want to get into that trade, but if you want to get into a trade with bigger position size, even a small percentage loss could be a big loss, because if you think about it, even if it's a 2% stop loss, 2% of $1 million is a lot of money. Just to exaggerate my point, 2% of $100 $5 or $10 is not a lot of money. So the bigger position size will definitely cause you to lose more money, even if your stop loss is tight. So you got to really think about how much you're going to deploy into this level given the risk to reward. Okay, so if it's a healthy risk and healthy reward, just think about how much you're willing to lose here, just in case we do fall below those horizontals. Okay, so just to exaggerate my point there, hope you understood that one. So what I would be doing is looking for a change of character, which is where we start making higher highs and higher lows. You can see that on the 4 hour, we're getting a little bit more confluence for a suggestion of a reversal, which means that if you're going to enter the 4 hour, be prepared to exit on the 4 hour. The daily is not where we get our edge. It's where we're getting it right now a little bit more, is potentially right now on the 4 hour. Why? Because at the current state, we are breaking above local highs, just these local highs, which is the beginning. We got nice, clean bullish divergence right into here, which is quite healthy and is something that the daily is not giving us. Okay, another thing that the daily is not giving us is this EMA cross with green histogram bars to the upside, and we're slowly moving upwards. We're still in the bearish control zone, but we got to start somewhere for a reversal here, where maybe we start getting into the bullish control zone above the 0% mark here on the oscillator. So I am hopeful to see that maybe we get a bit of relief, at least a bit of relief. And technically speaking, the relief could take us to about $190. That would be pretty good to see some of this volume, act as resistance and see what happens right around maybe 180. Front run that, guys. Don't be greedy. Maybe around the 180. If it gets to that level, get into a good risk to reward ratio, and then that way you're healthy. Now, what I'm saying here is also, you can see that the momentum is getting its follow through at the current moment. Okay, so the momentum is definitely pushing, and now it's in the chop zone. The chop zone is an excellent place, because I'll tell you this, most of the times when we're in a reversal and we see the momentum in the chop zone, the majority of the rip to the upside has not started. In fact, if we go sideways in the chop zone, which most of the times we do, it is very possible that we go sideways, and as we go sideways a little bit, we dip down just a bit in a retracement. Okay, just a little bit down, enough to suggest maybe a 0.5 fib golden pocket, something like that retracement, and then you can start building into a position on a confirmation low, a higher low, and that's basically what we want. If we can come down here for a higher low, even as low as the 786, and get a nice rounded bottom or some sort of support that's higher than this, we start to see this as a change of character, a higher low and a break above this high, which is what we're working on at the current moment. It kind of did, if you think about it. We kind of closed a 4 hour candle above, kind of. As you can see, I'm trying to nickel and dime and smoke a bit of hopium here at the same time. It doesn't look that bad. So let me kind of remove some of this artwork so we can see it a bit better, and maybe I'll get into lower time frames, but not really necessary. As you can see, the wicks kind of got a little bit higher. That's that. But a confirmed change of character is one of which where we need a higher low and then a clear higher high, and then we start looking at this as a potential change of character, where now the trend is your friend but to the upside, and we start moving upwards, and that's where we get the follow through from the momentum to get overbought. When the momentum gets overbought, guys, just back test this if you don't believe me. When the momentum goes into overbought conditions, that is when we get the majority of the rip to the upside, and in the meantime, the chop zone might give us that last little shakeout, the last little opportunity to buy the dip on a higher low, and that's where you might want to build a bit of a position for that reversal on the 4 hour, given that everything else here on the chart is not bad. And in addition to that, given that we are very close, again, if you go back to the daily, very close to that horizontal level of support where the invalidation is super clear. So when you kind of match all the time frames and you match where you're willing to take risk and on which time frame, and you start to say to yourself, how much am I really risking here? It's not that much, because you can quantify the dollar value of the risk that you're willing to take. That is the beauty behind trading, because you can plan and then execute the plan accordingly. So right now, Solana doesn't look that bad, and the reality is fundamentally, I don't believe anything has changed. It's in a, cleansing period, let's say, and it's a period of which maybe it needs to kind of make people feel a bit comfortable. We have an ETF potentially around the corner here for Solana. We have a lot of good tech still for Solana, and ultimately, I see a Solana price much higher than we are right now in the next little while. Okay, guys, so be careful out there. Of course, none of this is financial advice. Feel free to join me live tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. I'll definitely take any requests that you may have. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.